Hello and welcome to Sales After Dark, where we explore topics that we're not really supposed to talk about around the water cooler. So today begins our first day with the Tarot for Sales series, where we're going to be taking a journey through the major arcana of the tarot. That was supposed to be much smoother. I was going to do like a cool card fan, but evidently I'm a loser. So, yes, we're going to be taking a journey through the major arcana of the tarot, all of the rich symbolism that is associated with the tarot in general, but with each card and how that can lead us to deeper understanding and connection with ourselves, and therefore our journey as salespeople, which in turn leads to success, which leads to more money. It's all good stuff, I promise. So really quick, just a little bit about me. I was a sales coach in my previous life, and by previous life, I mean before I got pregnant and left to raise our baby. And I have also been a tarot reader and practicing witch for many years, actually all my life. But I hadn't really combined the two officially until I left and had some space to do so. I had been using the tarot to help friends, of course not in an official capacity, but to help friends who I worked with to help strengthen their sales skills. And we did that by addressing the deep subconscious issues that they were having, the internal barriers that they had to success, which if you've been in sales for more than a day or two, you'll realize, of course, that most of the blockages to success are internal. So, enough about that. Enough about me. We should call this Drunk Tarot. But Tarot After Dark kind of implies that, right? You can imagine that we're sitting at a bar talking about the taboo mindset shifts and ideas that can lead to greater success and understanding during the day in our sales roles. So, the Magician is the first archetype that we're going to be working with. And I anticipate working through the major arcana by doing one card a week. And that gives us enough time to process it and work with it and go a little bit deeper. If you have your own tarot deck, I invite you to pull the Magician, or if you have several, pull your favorite magician and keep him out this week. So let's take a look at him. Or her. I have 3 examples here. The classic Rider-Waite Smith. This is the Biddy Tarot, Everyday Tarot. I really like it for how simple and crisp the imagery is. And then we have the Magician, one of the most beautiful decks I own. And it's called the Modern Witch. It has modern imagery. It's been updated from the white, Eurocentric, male-centric. So, the Magician. So in all of these images, you can see that they have all of their resources available to them. All 4 of the elements are represented. We have this infinity symbol above the head, and they're wielding this magic wand in the right hand and pointing to the earth or to the below with the left hand. And so, of course, there's a nod to as above, so below. This is a magician after all. Now, what does he have to do with sales? Well, I see him as embodying the ultimate archetype of the salesperson, of sales mastery. We're actually going to do the Fool last. All right, I know many people put him at the front. The Fool is numberless, cannot be contained. You can put him in the beginning or end, in the middle, anywhere. But we're actually going to start with the Magician. So the Magician represents that point where everything starts to click for you. So you have moved beyond the trainee and you start to really feel like you know what you're doing. All of the tools, all of the resources, the knowledge, the technique, the experience from your training period, it's all at your fingertips. And so you're experiencing a lot of success quickly. The Magician is manifestation, clarity. It's that moment when you realize that you're no longer new anymore. Like you get it. And that could be when you're first starting out in sales, or that can be when you're first starting out in a new job, a new sales role, new company, new product. Have to figure out how you're going to make your skills work within this context. So it's that mindset shift. But the Magician is when it clicks. You've combined everything to make it your own. You have progress in the material world. And when I say the material world, you know, when you are learning a new product or you are training in a new job, all of that work, all of that influx of information that you have to digest and apply, you're doing a lot of that work subconsciously. You may notice that you're having intense dreams, or you dream that you're still at work and you're still working through these things. But the Magician is when you're experiencing progress finally in the material world, in the waking world. You may still be slightly naive, but the world is your oyster. You kind of need a little bit of that naivete in order to be very successful. You think about beginner's luck, right? Compare that to a grizzled old veteran who's been in their job forever. They have seen all of the management changes, all of the comp plan changes, all of the promises and the broken promises and the scandals, and they're feeling jaded, right? Because the good leads are always given to the favorite ones, right? The conspiracies. But when you are the Magician, you are still fresh. You're still excited. You still feel all of that potential. You know you can do it. You're not bogged down by all of that noise. You've tried something new and it's working. So you might be feeling Magician energy when maybe you're not brand new to this job, but you're trying something new. Maybe you went to a new training, or maybe you got something from another salesperson or a new person who just started, and what they're doing is working, and you're trying that out, and oh, hell yeah, it's fire. Maybe you're getting up at 5 a.m. You're newly inspired. You're getting up at 5 a.m. to work out while listening to a podcast. Maybe you're making vision boards, affirmations. You know, when you're the Magician, you know that you can do anything that you set your mind to. I'm reminded of that saying, an oldie but a goodie. Good luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So I'll say it again. Good luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And even if you've heard that before, with this new context, I want you to write it down. And if you're keeping the magician up at your desk, your vision board, background on your phone, like you can find this one for free. It's old enough now. It's free now. So if you don't have it, print it out. And write underneath it, good luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And that's going to be your mantra for this week. So think about your own inner magician, what that felt like for you. And if you're currently experiencing it, what that feels like for you. Try and tap into the visceral aspect. So meaning the body feelings. If you journal, or even if you don't and you're curious about trying it out, I highly recommend it. Take this opportunity, go through this journey with me after every card we go through. Take a few minutes to write down your feelings, but also any flashes of insight that you have. And for the magician, the reason I say focusing on the body feelings is because that is a great source of power that you can come back to. And that becomes the seat of your manifestation. So it becomes a link from where you are now to how you want to feel. And when you have already felt that before, you can create a bridge purely through remembering the emotions and how they felt in your body. Like you can channel that body feeling. And that is all magician stuff in there. Right? Now, let's talk real quick about the flip side of the magician. So let's say this guy was reversed in a reading, or just to be well balanced, right? We have to talk about the flip side. And the magician can sometimes get overwhelming. That feeling can almost feel like mania, if you've experienced that before, or just overwhelming. It's not necessarily sustainable to stay here forever. You can get unfocused. You can lose touch with your why. And when you're going for too long, too hard, too fast, again, you can lose touch with that foundation. So be aware of that. And if this card appears to you in reverse, think about whether you have become unfocused, things maybe aren't clicking anymore. And you have to make sure that you're taking directed action on your goals. You have to be sure that you are in alignment with what it is that you want. And if you don't know what you want, stop and get very, very clear on that. Go back, start at the beginning, go to those journal pages again. Feel it in your body, what it is that you want and why you want it and why you want to get there and what it felt like when you were on top of the world and you could manifest anything. Okay. I have one more thing to mention about the magician. So going even a little deeper here. So this guy can also be a little bit of a trickster, which is why I think he makes such a great representation of a salesperson. Most of the world, and I'm speaking from my American context and perspective, but I believe that this is pretty universal, is this idea of the salesman as a trickster, as a liar, as someone who bends the truth to get what they want. I think of a snake oil salesman. Okay, now you're watching this, so I know that that's not true of you. You've probably seen it in your industry or in your professional world before, sure. They exist and they're out there. But you still are perceived in that way, no matter who you are, just by wearing that title of magician. And rather than fight it, we can ride that intersection between the smoke and mirrors stage magician and the true mage, the one who makes things happen. Because at the end of the day, true success in sales comes down to the fact that you have something that your prospect wants and you are helping them to get it. The person they're really fighting is themselves. And sometimes we have to use a little bit of magic to loosen them up to the truth of what they really want. And some people may find this to be manipulative, but when we operate from the place that we all have our own free will and the fact that we're not holding a gun to anybody's head and locking them in a room, no, not even timeshare people. People are willingly engaging with you and they want what you have, and they're much weaker than us more enlightened people who allow ourselves to have what we want. Most people put up the blocks. They don't deserve it. They feel they don't deserve it. They feel that they must earn it, or they have all these excuses to feel bad to do something for themselves. They can't justify spending the money. They feel like there's a possibility they're being taken advantage of. And if they would just hold out a little longer, then you would fulfill that role of making them do it like they want to, but you're the scapegoat. You made them do it. And I think that is the true nature of the magician in relation to sales. You're the holy scapegoat, and that's okay. You don't care. You don't mind. You are able to use your words in a masterful way, in a cunning way, in an incisive way, to help people give themselves permission for what they really want. And what they really want is right in your hand. So, don't fight the trickster vibes. Embody it and watch your sales multiply. Like the rabbit that he pulls out of his hat. All right, so that was episode 1, installment 1, whatever you want to call it. That was number 1. That was the magician. And next week, we'll be talking about this lovely lady here, the high priestess. So we'll be moving forward on our journey and learning about what she has to offer. Spoiler alert, it's very powerful. I guess that's not a spoiler. All right, stay tuned. I encourage you to subscribe. I know all YouTubers say that, but that's how you make sure that you don't miss out on each card. We're going to be going in order. Each one is going to be building upon layers from the previous one. So subscribe to that so you don't miss out. And share this with a friend if you think that it would be helpful. Maybe a coworker, someone else who's in sales. And I invite you to leave a comment below on how you see the magician fitting into your life. So my question to you is, when do you feel like a magician? Share your successes. I want fun stories. All right. Have a good night, and I'll see you next week.